Yo, what's good? What's going on, everyone? Hope you're having a great day. It's Neff, and today I'm going to be giving you guys a complete guide on Havoc Demon Hunter and Dragonflight. So I made a Google document going through a lot of stuff we're going to talk about in this video. So if you want to check that out, there's a link in the description to it. Basically, just runs down all the builds. You can get import strings for these different builds that I show off in the video. So if you just want to take the import strings and import them straight to your character, you can do that. It goes through kind of more in depth about what's changed and all the new stuff to Havoc in Dragonflight, to our new talent tree and stuff. So if you want to check that out, there's a link in the description. So I am doing a giveaway. I'm giving away a heroic edition of Dragonflight to one person who comments on this video, #Dragonflight. The only rules of this giveaway is you must be subscribed to the channel, you must have #Dragonflight in your comment, and you must leave some way for me to get a hold of you after you've won. I will reply to the comment after, I use the comment picker thing to select who's won, and I'll reply to your comment and tell you you've won. Try and make sure you leave either your Twitter @ your Battle.net ID or your Discord username in your comment, so it can just be a lot easier for me to reach out to you and to get all the details I need to actually send you everything for the giveaway. Just remember, #Dragonflight must be in your comment. I also do want to say this video is sponsored by HelloFresh. If you're looking for an amazing meal plan service to help you get started on your New Year's resolution, maybe you're just looking for an easy way to have amazing meals ready to go with the perfect ingredients, HelloFresh has you covered. Make sure to use my link in the description and get 70% off your first order. That's right, 70%. This is a crazy deal and you don't want to miss it. Also, one more little shout out. If you do like the UI in the video, I do give out my UI to Twitch subscribers and patrons. It's only $3 USD on Patreon. My UI is updated for every spec in the game and ready to go for the Dragonflight launch. And there's a link in the description to my Patreon, Twitch, and Discord where you can download my UI. So now that that's all out of the way, let's get into it. Let's talk about Havoc DH stat priority quickly. As Havoc DH in AOE, your best secondary stat will be crit because of the talent Know Your Enemy. Your next stat will be Mastery because of the talent Any Means Necessary. We'll talk about these talents in a second, but your third stat will be Haste, and last will be Versatility. And single target, your stat priority is pretty much the same. You'll want to stack crit, and then for your second best stat, Haste and Mastery are pretty much even though we don't take Any Means Necessary. We do a lot of chaos damage, with our main abilities like I-Beam, Annihilation, First Blood, and everything like that. So any gear like Crit Mastery, Crit Haste is what you'll want to shoot for. Next, we'll talk about the tier set for Havoc in Season 1. The tier set overall is actually really good, although it is pretty boring, but I think that goes for most tier sets this tier because of the complete talent revamp that every class got. Our 2 set synergizes very well with our spec and talents. What it does is increases the critical strike chance of Blade Dance and Chaos Strike, or Death Sweep and Annihilation by 5%, and increases their critical strike damage by 10%. Our 4 set is basically a permanent 8% flat damage increase with an uptime of around 90% depending on the build you play. What the 4 set does is it gives us 20% chance per damage dealt by Blade Dance and Chaos Strike or Death Sweep and Annihilation to give an 8% damage increase for 6 seconds. This chance is increased to 40% on critical strikes. So our 2 set and 4 set, they have really good synergy with crit, which is a good thing because we really like crit because of the talent Know Your Enemy. But overall, the tier set is around a 10 to 11% damage increase. So now let's just talk about what Havoc is actually good at right now. In Dragonflight, Havoc has always been really good at passive cleave from abilities like I-Beam, Blade Dance, and Immolation Aura. While we have all of these tools still available, we do really good sustained damage and passive cleave. We also have talents like Essence Break, which give us huge burst in a short window every 40 seconds. This ability paired with Demonic and I-Beam, which share the same cooldown, is very strong and gives us, so we now have very good burst, which is what we really lacked in Shadowlands. And it being on a 40-second cooldown, we pretty much have a button at all times, especially in Mythic Plus, almost for every pull. So we still have that sustained damage, but with Essence Break, we have very, very good short burst windows. So 2 of the main talents that we gained in Dragonflight, which is going to give us a very good scaling going deeper into expansions, again, like we lacked in Shadowlands, is Know Your Enemy and Any Means Necessary. Both of these talents did get a decent nerf recently, but they are still very strong. Know Your Enemy increases the damage your critical strikes do based on 80% of your critical strike chance, and Any Means Necessary now converts all single school magic abilities into chaos damage and increases that damage based on 80% of your mastery percentage. So abilities like Immolation Aura, Sigil of Flame, Fellblade, Collective Anguish, they all do fire damage and they'll be converted into chaos damage, which will scale with our mastery. So with these talents, we now have some pretty serious scaling with critical strike and mastery secondary stats. We also gained an ability called Ragefire, which has huge AOE damage potential. Ragefire basically stacks 3 crits from each tick of damage your Immolation Aura does and explodes with that damage stacked up at the end of your Immolation Aura, and is completely uncapped. So we are now capable of doing very good AoE with another short cooldown, which is another thing, you know, we lacked in Shadowlands. Because in Shadowlands, I-beam was square root capped, and even though it was a short cooldown and we got to use it pretty often, the damage of it was just really bad in AoE. And that has also been changed. I-beam now does reduce damage beyond 5 targets instead of being square root capped and the damage falling off right after 2 targets. So if you played Havoc in Legion, we got a talent called Bloodlit back, which is now called Soul Rend. What it does, it deals 120% of your Throglaive damage as chaos damage over a 6-second dot effect. This paired with talents like Accelerating Blade, Bouncing Glaive, and Furious Throws does a ton of sustained damage in AoE. And the final talent we'll look at is called Shattered Destiny. What it does is it increases your current meta duration by 0.1 seconds for every 8 Fury you spend. So 1 Chaos Strike will increase your meta uptime by 0.5 seconds, and 1 Blade Dance will increase it by 0.4 seconds. This allows for very high meta uptime, paired with Cycle of Hatred, which has also changed to no longer be RNG, and the Demonic talents, which gives us very good sustained damage that Havoc is used to. So now that we understand some of the key talents in the talent tree, we're going to go through 2 different builds, which is I think is what everyone has actually come here for, and I'm gonna quickly break them down for you, like how you should play them, what they're good at, and what you should pay attention to when playing them. So first off, we're going to look at the raid or more single target oriented build. This build offers very good sustained damage from talents like Shattered Destiny, Demonic, Cycle of Hatred, Momentum, and First Blood. And it also offers short, big burst windows every 40 seconds from Essence Break. So the main thing you want to focus on is your Essence Break windows. These are key, and you'll want to make sure you do these properly every time. Pretty much you'll always want to use I-beam right before you Essence Break, so you're in demon form when you use Essence Break, and we're buffing our Death Sweeps and Annihilations instead of Blade Dance and Chaos Strike. So this is what the rotation would look like if you have Metamorphosis, I-beam, and Essence Break off cooldown, and this is how you'd kind of use that Essence Break window optimally. First, you want to Fel Rush, I-beam, Annihilation to use your Inner Demon proc, Essence Break, Death Sweep, Vengeful Retreat to reproc Initiative, Metamorphosis while you're flipping to cancel the animation, and spam Death Sweep to get it off as fast as you can so it's buffed by the Essence Break. You will need a certain amount of haste to do this. On beta, I was testing it out and I could do it with a @player macro with Metamorphosis at 11% haste, and I could get that second Death Sweep off and buffed by the Essence Break. And you would want to use Annihilation to use your next Inner Demon proc from activating meta, and I-beam and use Annihilation again to use another Inner Demon proc, and then go through the motions of keeping Death Sweep on cooldown and spamming Annihilations. So if Metamorphosis is on cooldown, your Essence Break window is a lot simpler. I-beam, Essence Break, Death Sweep, and just Annihilation spam through the rest of your window. Key things you want to focus on is keep momentum up with the Hunt, Vengeful Retreat, and Fel Rush. Don't overlap your Inner Demon procs. Make sure to use Annihilation after you meta or I-beam. Use Vengeful Retreat for Fury Generation and Initiative procs. And make sure to hold your I-beam if your Essence Break is within around 12 seconds of coming off cooldown. As long as you do those Essence Break windows optimally and you use it to its full potential, you know, you've pretty much mastered the build. So the next build we'll take a look at is the AOE build, mostly for Mythic Plus or on one boss I know in particular, which would be the Primal Council. Looking at the talents, we're taking Soul Rend. So we want to be using Throglaive and try and never cap on charges of Throglaive. Always keep it on CD unless you're in your Essence Break window. Then it's the same thing as the build before, except we don't have Inner Demon, so you don't need to worry about that. One thing to note with Soul Rend, that your Soul Rend damage does stack. So if you Throglaive something, apply Soul Rend and then you Throglaive again right after. The damage from the new Soul Rend will be added onto the initial Soul Rend, but the duration will not stack. So it looks like it doesn't stack, but it actually does. So you can just spam through your glaives and not lose anything in the process. We do take Sigil of Misery and the talent Misery and Defeat, which increases the damage we do to everything affected by Sigil of Misery for 5 seconds by 20%. And by affected by Sigil of Misery, they do have to be feared for this talent to actually work. So it doesn't work on raid bosses or like elite mobs that can't be feared, stunned, or anything like that. So the rotation would look something like this: Immolation Aura on pull, Throglaive to apply Burning Wound, Fel Rush, Sigil of Misery, I-beam, Essence Break, Death Sweep, Vengeful Retreat, cancel Vengeful Retreat with meta, Death Sweep, and then I-beam. This build is very simple and a lot less spammy in comparison to the other one, but you just want to focus on using Throglaive on cooldown. It does cost Fury now because we're taking the talent Furious Throws, so just keep that in mind. But Throglaive does take priority over Chaos Strike even in single target, and it's the same thing as the build before. Use Vengeful Retreat, the Hunt, Fel Rush to keep momentum up, use Vengeful Retreat for Fury Generation and Initiative procs, and also make sure to stay in the middle of packs while you have Immolation Aura up so you can build your Rage Fire damage, and right after it goes away so you hit as many mobs as possible with Rage Fire. And that's pretty much it. That's all you need to know. Use Throglaive on cooldown, keep in mind Sigil of Misery, use your Essence Break windows optimally, and you've pretty much mastered the build. So yeah, I hope you guys found this video useful. Like I said, there is a Google document in the description where I go through some of this stuff, and you can get the talent import strings from there. Again, I am giving away a heroic edition of Dragonflight, so make sure to leave those comments. If you're interested in my UI, check me out on Patreon, or if you have Prime, you can use that on Twitch. There's a link in the description to my Discord, Twitch, and my Patreon. If you have any questions, until next time, you know, hit me up on Discord or just leave a comment. And yeah, hope you guys have a good day. Peace.